So today we have a webinar on CBT taken up by Arpita ma'am, and the procedure for the certificate I would be sharing at the end of the webinar, so don't leave in between. Now over to you, Arpita ma'am.
Hello everyone, am I audible to all of you? Very good evening to all. I hope all of you are doing well. A warm welcome to each one of you in today's webinar on cognitive behavior therapy. So this is a very important way of treatment. So today we will be discussing how we can use cognitive behavior therapy for different areas, especially for like how it can be benefiting teachers to apply it on children, or in what all other areas we can use it, be it for clinical or non-clinical paths. So let me introduce myself. So I'm an RCI licensed clinical and rehabilitation psychologist in this field for past 10 years. I have been working in multidisciplinary areas, which includes a lot of neuropsychiatric clinics, psychological treatment centers, de-addiction cum rehabilitation centers, audiovisual production house where I have been associated as personality development counselor. I also have been a part of the National Trust. You might have heard of it. It's a government welfare body for cerebral palsy, autism, and mental retardation. Also, I have been associated with schools and NGOs. So with regard to that part today, we are going to discuss how we can introduce CBT and how this will benefit the individuals. I have also been a former lecturer at the University of Calcutta and clinical psychologist at a government hospital. I'm experienced in working with clients having organic disease, mood and anxiety disorder, schizophrenia, personality disorder, mental retardation, and childhood disorders. I also give family and marriage or couple counseling where both premarital and postmarital difficulties are being dealt appropriately. I have also worked with special conditions like deliberate self-harm, bereavement, substance abuse, learning disability, LGBTQ counseling, and I'm an expert in conducting psychometric assessments for adults as well as children. And I'm a trained psychotherapist, and I use my experience into customizing different therapies, which of course includes CBT. Apart from that, I also practice REBT, DBT, MET, play therapy, supportive psychotherapy, dream therapy, SFBT with my clients. Here also, I do run a certificate course in cognitive behavior therapy. So let us now proceed with this part. So in today's session, what all we are going to cover, let me take you through the topics that we are going to cover today. Today we will be discussing about understanding what CBT is, the uses and applications of CBT, understanding what to expect during and after CBT if we are using it for children or adolescents, or how it can benefit teachers and other professionals. We will also be discussing about understanding how it is going to work. We will discuss about the thought, action, emotion cycle, the ABC of CBT, the cognitive distortions, various techniques which we practically use. Also, we will be discussing certain cases to understand the things better. Apart from that, what all worksheets we introduce and what all benefits and challenges are there with regard to CBT. That part too we are going to discuss. Okay. So, first, let me know what comes to your mind when you come across this term CBT. What is it? You don't have to come up with any definition. You can type it in the chat box as well. Normally, what comes to your mind when you come across this term CBT? I mean, based on your understanding, I'll actually start from there. Feel free to come up with any answer, whatever you feel. Also, in the meantime, let me know individuals who are coming from a different background rather than psychology, but you're interested in this. That's why you might have joined. Can you drop in the chat box? Just in brief, if you can introduce, it will help me to get connected with each one of you, and accordingly, I'll go ahead with the discussion to make sure everybody is understanding and gaining interest. One of you mentioned it's talk therapy related to thoughts and behavior. Okay. Therapy of cognitive distortions. Okay. Waiting for others also. We don't have to come up with any definition. No problem even if it's wrong. We're just having a discussion. Also, by the time when we will go ahead with our session, if anybody will be having any doubts, you can drop in the chat box your queries. So, first I'll start the session by showing you a picture. Okay, take a look at this picture. And type it in the chat box. What comes to your mind when you come across this picture? One of you mentioned frame of reference. Okay, I'll wait for others to pour in their feelings about this. Anything that comes to your mind when you take a look at this picture. This is basically about perception. One of you mentioned clarity of pictures. Okay? So when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That means it's all about your perception, how you are perceiving something. Based on that, the things would also change. So are you perceiving the thing in a particular angle and you're being rigid about it? Is it that based on which you are interpreting things? So that is very important. One of you mentioned it's related to different perspectives and depends on which one to focus on. Yes. So why we are saying that this is a type of therapy, coming to that part. So CBT is a form of psychotherapy. This means that this cannot be carried out by anybody and everybody. So it has to be carried out by trained professionals only. It is a process of teaching, coaching, and reinforcing positive behaviors in the client. And CBT helps people to identify cognitive patterns, like in which pattern they are thinking. They have their, wiring, the way they think. CBT helps people to identify their cognitive patterns, thoughts, and emotions that are linked with their behavior. Now, the point is, whatever I am thinking, it affects my emotions. It further affects my behavior. Okay, so this is how it does work when we are talking about cognitive behavior therapy. In this picture also you can see in green color, your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors. All the three in a combined way you can, touch up using cognitive behavior therapy. So now that we are discussing about this, let us discuss a little bit of, history, how it came in and who brought in. So Aaron Beck was the person. Aaron Beck was a psychoanalytic psychotherapist. In early 1960s, Aaron Beck developed an approach known as cognitive therapy. So basically, Beck was working on clients who were suffering from depression. Okay. Nowadays, people use the term depression in a very colloquial term, but he was actually working on clients who were diagnosed with depression, clinical depression. So His observations on this depressed clients revealed that they had a negative bias in their interpretation of certain line payments. So same thing, even if you're talking about children, students, adolescents, often we see, I'm not saying that they are suffering from depression, but often we see that they are having a biased way of thinking, biased way of interpreting situations. This contributes to cognitive distortions. What is cognitive distortion? It is a distorted or an incorrect way of evaluating things or thinking about something, which does not help us in anything. So, Beck called it cognitive therapy because of its importance it places on thinking. And nowadays it is known as the cognitive behavioral therapy because we have also employed the behavioral techniques along with this one. So, if we are using cognitive behavior therapy, how will children, adolescents, or students be helped? They will be getting the power of consciously changing their perspective. So there are different perspectives, no? Same thing we can perceive from different angles. So that part would be helped if we are using cognitive behavior therapy in an appropriate, structured way. Okay. So now when we're talking about this CBT part, then the next thing that we will be discussing is that the basic premise of CBT is that emotions are difficult to change directly. If somebody is saying, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling low, I will not be able to just target only on the depression part, only on the anxiety part. I have to understand what's the root cause of it. What is it that is giving rise to anxiety? For example, a student is finding it difficult to face an like a stage show. Okay, there will be a school program. The student is getting anxious. So, what is it because of which the student is getting anxious? So, CBT targets those emotions by changing the thoughts that is giving rise to that feelings and the behaviors that are contributing to the distressing emotions. So, CBT builds a set of skills that enables individuals to identify how situations influence thoughts and behaviors, become aware of the connection between thoughts, behaviors, and emotions, and improve the emotional states by changing unhelpful thinking styles and behaviors that are linked to negative emotional states. So, from this picture, also, you can see from thoughts, the arrows are going towards emotions and behaviors, from emotions again to thoughts and behaviors. Same thing for behaviors, it is going to thoughts and emotions. So this is how basically we go ahead with the paths. Next, let us discuss about cognitive distortion. As we were discussing that it is basically the distorted way of thinking, right? So when we are talking about a distorted way of thinking, what happens here is this is the time when the brain lies to you. You are thinking that this is the thing, but maybe it is not so. So that is a distorted way of thinking. There are different kinds of cognitive distortions, like all or nothing thinking, like overgeneralizing, like mental filter, disqualifying the positive, mind reading, fortune telling, magnification, etc. So an individual can be having one type of distorted thinking or more than one type at a time. Now, the point is why everybody is not requiring therapy. We can also have that distortion, but why we are not requiring the therapy unlike other clients? The point is, for those clients, it has become a regular and a rigid thing, and they are not able to overcome it. There lies the problem. Okay? Now, take a look at this case study. This will help you to understand. So, with regard to a student, here we are using an example. Your friend calls and asks if you will help her product project for the rest of the day. You had already planned to catch up with some reading, but you say yes. So, this is A and this is C. So, in between it remains is B. B is the beliefs, the thoughts. So, now read this part again and tell me what kind of thoughts the person might be having because of which the person said yes. So friend calls you and asks help from you for a project for the rest of the day, but you have already planned to catch up with some reading. But why you did say yes? What kind of thoughts came to your mind because of which you said yes? Take your time, think over it, then type in your answers. Oh, one of you mentioned help. I'm asking what was the thought because of which you said yes? One of you mentioned friend is important or being helpful is good. Okay, friend is important over my work. One of you mentioned contemplating on the aspects of helping or not helping. Okay, if I don't help, then this might happen. Okay, to please or validate. If he or she doesn't help, then they won't validate. Okay, yes. If I don't help him, then she might think this. Positive thought. What is the thought? Yes, I can see a hand. Please go ahead. Or you can also type in.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Between the middle person, B is maybe going through the positive thought that are impacted all over the process of behavior, thought, and emotions.
Okay. So see, if we are saying this is the situation and this is what the client has said, there must be certain thoughts because of which the person had said yes. Right? Now, take a look at this. So in the purple color, the B or the beliefs or the thoughts are written. So from this situation, the person is inferring that if I will say no, she will think badly of me. So you evaluate your inference that I can't stand a chance to have her disapprove of me and see me as selfish. So you are having a core belief, like deep rooted, you are having a faith or a belief that to feel okay about myself, I need to be liked. So I must avoid disapproval from any source. So you are feeling anxious and you are saying, yes, I will help you. So can you tell me where is this person wrong in his thoughts? Assume wrong in belief system. See the core belief, the person is saying to feel okay about myself. That means my certificate or to feel good about my own self, others must like me. So others are always not responsible to like you, right? So I must avoid disapproval. So you cannot say must. Whatever good things you do, it's not that every time everybody will be, liking you, right? So because of this thing, the person felt anxious and the person said yes. Now, we have discussed at the very beginning that in case of CBT that we use a lot of different practical techniques. Using those techniques, we are helping the person to deal and overcome all the difficulties that they are having. So now take a look at this picture to understand how CBT works. First of all, you are having a particular thought. Take a look at this cute picture. Thinking about spider, okay? Oh my God, spiders are this, they jump over us, they can attack, they are poisonous. So now that you are having a thought of a spider, what is happening? You are having a particular negative emotion because of the spider. So see the face, negative emotion. And in reality, it also affects your behavior. So when you actually see a spider, oh my God, run away. So again, it is leading to thought, thank God I could escape. Spiders are like this again. So this goes on and on and on in a cycle. So what we try to do is we try to break this cycle using cognitive behavior. So that's the reason we are trying to target on the client's thoughts. If the thoughts can be changed, emotion can also be changed. Behavior can also be changed. Okay, so this is how basically we go ahead with the areas. Now, while understanding or making the client independently deal with this, like as I mentioned, this can benefit adolescents or children, or teachers can also use it for the students. They can introduce a CBT thought record sheet. Okay, this sheet, like you don't have to download this sheet and give it in this way. In a white page also it can be done, like normal A4 size sheet. We take the printout or a drawing copy, a broader page. So we can use that. So take a look. I will explain this with the help of an example. Okay. So for example, the student is saying that, ma'am, I called one of my friend, or I saw one of my friend in the market, but he did not talk to me, or he did not greet me. So this is the simple situation. So madam is asking, okay, write the situation. So student is writing. Met friend in the market, he didn't talk to me. Done. So automatic thoughts. That means because of this situation, what kind of automatic thought came to your mind? So the student is writing, number one, he is avoiding me on purpose. Number two, maybe he does not love me anymore. Number three, one day will come when everybody will be avoiding me. Number four, my life will be terrible. So because of a small thing, the student is coming up with so many thoughts. So what is your mood and or emotion? The teacher is asking, the student would be saying, I'm feeling sad. Okay, so rate yourself 0 to 100. How much you are feeling? How much sad you are feeling? 90 out of 100? Fine. What else are you feeling? Angry. 60 out of 100? How dare he not talk to me? Okay, done. Next. Now the game starts. Evidence for the thought. Now the student came up with some thoughts, 4 thoughts. One thought at a time we will be targeting. So using the evidence, we will help the person understand it. So I'm asking this, I'm not saying, no, your friend might not have seen you. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, what is the evidence to support your thought? That means what proof do you have that he ignored you on purpose? Then the student is saying, I saw him, so he should also see me. It was a very small distance between us. Okay, that can't be counted as an evidence. It was a very small distance. I could see him, so he should have also seen me. Fine. Next. Apart from that, any other evidence do you have to support this? No, ma'am. Okay. What is the evidence against this thought? That means evidence that is not supporting this thought. What evidence do you have? We are good friends, and it was a very busy marketplace. Maybe he did not see me. And also he was in a hurry. Maybe he couldn't note on that. Okay. What are the other evidence? Whenever I call him, he replies to my calls. He also calls me. We also play together during the tiffin time or at the park. So these are the evidence which does not support that he is avoiding me. So now how many points are there to support it and how many points are there that is not supporting your thought? Then the student will be saying, ma'am, more evidence is there which is not supporting my automatic thought. So that means you are getting to understand that that thought is not correct. So now what is your alternative thought? Maybe he just overlooked on that. Maybe he was in a rush, he didn't see. So now what is the outcome? Do you still believe that he ignored you on purpose? No, I think he overlooked. I think he didn't see me. So how are you feeling now? Still, are you feeling depressed and anxious? No, I am not. So what are you going to do now? I'm going to call him and I'm going to ask him that, did you see me? I saw you, you were there in the market. So see, the entire thing changed. I didn't say the student, no, beta, you are wrong. Your friend might not have seen you. Because if I would have said that, the student would have told me, no, ma'am, you are not understanding. He is not paying attention to me. So no, Hassan. So this is how we are introducing this technique with the student. We also ask them that you can also practice the same at home also. This is not only I'm teaching you and you are doing it in front of me. So anything that comes to your mind later on also, you note and you solve your parts. So from this, another thing also becomes clear that CBT is a skill building procedure. So I'm teaching you, you are developing the skill. Later on, you can apply the skills. Okay, so this is how it works. Next, whenever a client is having or a child is having any negative thoughts, instead of saying it is wrong, we use Socratic questioning. This is a type of open-ended question. Okay, so here are some sample questions you can see. What do you think about this? What is the main point you are making? Could you put this another way? You seem to be assuming that. Could you give me an example? Could you explain this a bit more? Is that always the case? Could there be another explanation to this? What else can you assume? So in this way, we are asking some open-ended questions, and this will basically broaden the thought process of the client. And the client will be able to think from other perspectives which he otherwise didn't consider. So Socratic questioning involves a disciplined and a thoughtful dialogue between two or more people. Here it means the child and the teacher or the therapist. It involves a series of open-ended questions that encourage the person to reflect on the areas. So that's how it does work. Okay. Now, let us discuss another case study. The way that I was mentioning. A friend passed me in the street without acknowledging. So the person is saying that I am feeling worthless and depressed. So what is the behavior? The behavior is I am avoiding people generally. So now I will have to find the B, A, B, C. Okay. So when talking to the person, I am getting to understand that these are the beliefs. The client is saying he is ignoring me and he doesn't like me. I would end up without friends forever, and this would be terrible. I am not acceptable as a friend, so I must be worthless as a person. To feel worthwhile and be happy, I must be liked and I must be approved by everyone significant to me. So now, using the ABC technique, once we have organized this thing, the next thing that we do is the disputation. Asking open-ended questions, we are helping the person to reflect on it and to come up with more realistic thoughts. So disputation of the old beliefs so that we can come up with new beliefs. So here in red color, you can see it's written, the old beliefs are written. And here in the bigger box, the changes after disputation. How do I know he ignored me on purpose? He may not have seen me. Even if he did ignore me, this doesn't prove that he dislikes me. He may have been in a hurry or perhaps upset or worried in some way. Even if it were true that he disliked me, this doesn't prove I will never have friends again. And even this unlikely possibility would be unpleasant rather than a source of terror. It's not that, oh my God, what will happen? There is no proof that I am not acceptable as a friend. There is no proof to it. But even if were, This proves nothing about the total me or my worthlessness. I'm saying I am worthless. So it's not about I am worthless. Love and approval are highly desirable, but they are not absolute necessities. Making them so is not only illogical, but actually it screws me up when I think they may not be forthcoming. So better I keep them as preferences rather than demands that you need to, you should like. I'll not keep it as a demand. I'll keep it as a preference. So that's how now the client will be coming up with more effective way of thinking. So the client may say that I'm feeling disappointed, but not depressed. So this is how basically we go ahead with the areas. Okay. Now, let us discuss some of the other practical techniques that we often use in cognitive behavior therapy. Here is a technique of cognitive restructuring or reframing, the way I am framing or structuring a particular thought in. This involves taking a hard look at a negative thought pattern. Perhaps you tend to overgeneralize, assume the worst will happen, or place far too much importance on minor details. So thinking this way can affect what you do, and it can even become a self-fulfilling profession. So the therapist will ask about your thought process in certain situations, so you can identify the negative pattern. So once you are aware of them, now you know how to reframe those thoughts so that you are more positive and productive. Here you can see a very good example. Person is saying, I blew the report because I am totally useless. So I have blown the report because I am useless. The person can reframe that and can say the report wasn't my best work. I am a valuable employee, or I am a good student, and I can improve in many ways, or I can contribute in many ways. I'll give another example. A student is saying, I am a failure. I failed in maths. So the student can reframe this, and the student can say, I need to work harder to improve in maths. I'm not using the term failure, I'm not using the term fail. I want it. Next, another technique. Cognitive rehearsal. That means mentally we are rehearsing something positive so that when we will be facing such situation, we will be prepared beforehand. In this technique, the patient is asked to recall a problematic situation of the past. The therapist and the client both work together to find out a solution for the problem, or a way in which the difficult situation, if it occurs in the future, can be sorted out. So the therapist asks the client to rehearse the positive thoughts cognitively in order to make appropriate changes in the later process. Because the power of imagination proves to be great in such exercises. So if you are exercising or thinking something positive, you are becoming prepared. Such kind of a situation when you will be facing, you will be prepared to deal with such situations. Next technique. This is a very important technique, especially for children, adolescents, or students. Activity scheduling. Just like in school, we have on which time or which period we have which subject class. In the similar way, Monday to Sunday, this is a schedule. An activity schedule, not only about studies, everything will be there. What time you will get up, what time you will go to bed, what time you will take bath, what time you will sing, what time you will dance, what time you will play, what time you will study, what time you will do homework. Each and everything that an individual is supposed to do on a typical day, everything is mentioned. So once the thing of decision making is gone, because it's already been penned down, so you just follow through the things. In this way, you can also start to develop some good habits in an individual. In this way, they will be able to better manage time, better time management would be there. And a very common complaint from the parents come, ma'am, my child doesn't study. He is always playing computer games. And then the student will be like, no, ma'am, she is not telling the truth. I am also studying. I don't play computer games much. So when the things are organized, the student is also able to follow the things. I'm not saying only study, study, study. You are having computer games time, you are having football time, you are having gardening time, you are having craft time, you are having studies, homework, everything is sorted. And following this every day, they will also develop good habits. Somebody who suffers from anxiety and wakes up in the morning just planning, what should I do today? For them also this is going to work because it's already pre-planned. And for students, adolescents, even adults, if they are suffering from low mood or depression, now often we say, no, nahi man kar raha, not feeling like doing it. So I'll do it tomorrow, and that tomorrow will never come. So in this case, what is happening? Everything is now sorted. You're having a routine. So you just do it. Do it and then feel the difference. So we also, that's the reason we say this is a way of activating behavior. So initially you will be doing it forcefully. You will not feel like doing it. You are doing it because it's in the schedule. But once you start to do it, then you will follow through the things easily. Okay. Next, another very important and a very good practical technique I'm going to introduce with you. Behavioral experiment. Again, let me give you a case example to understand how this technique will work. So, situation. Let's take an example. It's 15th August, right? So, prior, the teacher told that, see, tomorrow is 15th August. You know, we are having a function in school. So, you will have to do the anchoring. Don't worry, everything will be scripted. You just have to take the mic. You'll have to just read it from whatever it is written. Then and then the student is, no, ma'am, please ask somebody else to do it. I will not be able to do it. It's very difficult for me. So then I am the teacher. I will be using a behavioral experiment. I'm giving a white sheet to the child. I'm saying, okay, write the situation. So the child is writing. Teacher asked me to do anchoring for 15 hours program. Now, next, prediction. I'm asking the child, now you write down 1, 2, 3, 4. What are you predicting might happen because of which you are saying no, ma'am, no. So the student is writing. Number 1, I will wrongly pronounce words. Number 2, I will skip lines. Number 3, my voice will crack. Number 4, my hand and feet would be shivering. Number 5, the mic will fall down from my hand. Number 6, I may faint. So in this way, the student can come up with plenty of things. We also ask them to rate it. So obviously, a person who is suffering from anxiety, their rating is on higher part, 10 on 10, 10 on 10, 8 on 10, 9 on 10, they will be done. Then I will do a small experiment to check whatever they are predicting, it is true or not. So I'm telling the student, now you are in the staff room. In the staff room, we are having 10, 12 teachers. Okay. You take this script, you read it in front of us. This is the mic. You read it in front of us. Nobody else is there. Nobody is going to evaluate you or nobody is going to scold you or anything. If we see you are fit for this, we will continue with you. If not, we will call some other student. Don't worry. So the child is a bit relieved. So the child will do it. Done. So experiment done. Next. We will now check with the outcome. What actually happened? Was your prediction correct? I will give that sheet back to the child. Now I'll give a pen or a pencil. Now put a tick mark. How many of those things came correct or true? Maybe the child wrote 10, 12 negative things. And now the child is saying, ma'am, only 3 things came true out of 12. Okay, can you rate them now? Then the child is like, yeah, previously I have rated it 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, but yeah, I was wrongly pronouncing certain words, but it was only once or twice, 2 out of 10. My voice was initially shaking, 1 out of 10. So the rating is also so low. So you have proved yourself wrong. The predictions that you came up with. I didn't say that, okay, you will be able to do, you will be able to do. It's not about boosting the person. I have done a simple experiment. The result is infinite. So what did I learn? Now I am having a balanced or a better view of the situation, how I was seeing. So this way, over time, if we use this, no, we will be able to develop a lot of confidence, increase their self-esteem, and decrease their fear or anxieties with regard to certain situations. This is how this technique works like one. Okay. Let us discuss yet another technique. This is also very interesting. Validity testing or checking on the validity. If a child is saying something, for example, the child is saying, ma'am, you know, history teacher does not like. I will not say, no, it's not like that. Maybe she was busy, maybe. Then my student would be saying, no, ma'am, you are not understanding. She is really like that. So what will I do? I'll try to check with the validity of his thoughts. In this technique, the therapist tests the validity of beliefs, thoughts of the client. The client is allowed to defend his viewpoint by means of objective evidence. Give me evidence, I will believe. That means if you are not able to give any evidence, you are only saying, no, ma'am, I was incorrect. I am not saying you are incorrect. So the faulty nature or inavailability of the beliefs or proper evidence, if you are not able to give, that means whatever you were saying, it's not true. And solved. Okay. In CBT, we use another technique. This is also very writing a journal. Note your thoughts, because from the thoughts, we can get the root cause of the issues that you are experiencing. So, it is the practice of maintaining a diary or a copy to keep an account of the situations that is arising in a day. And then thoughts that are associated with this situation and behavior exhibited in response to them are also mentioned in the diary. Remember the CBT sheet, we give them it as a homework. So, sorry. The therapist and the client together, they review the matter written in the journal and they find out the maladaptive thought. The discussion that takes place between them proves to be useful in finding different ways in which the behavior of the client gets affected. So in this way, therapist is also getting to understand. Client is also gaining, client is also gaining confidence that yes, over time I am able to better cope up with my thoughts, the negative thoughts that I was having. Next, successive approximation. This works again wonderfully, especially for children, adolescent students, college students, for everybody. When they receive a homework, for example, it's summer vacation, 1 month vacation, loads of homework students get from their school. So there what happens is, they will be doing all the homework. Maybe they have also got a handwriting book. We also used to get, no? So the entire book, the teacher says, summer vacation, the entire book needs to be completed. Nobody will help you. You will do it. But that entire book I will have to do. I'll do it. I'll do it too. The child is doing all the other homework, but not the book. The child is not touching it. So what is the child doing? The child is procrastinating until the last 2 days left and waking up at night and then doing it early morning before going to school doing it. So there we can use the successive approximation style. So entire book is a huge thing. Instead of thinking it as an entire book, divide it into small, easily achievable tasks. For example, that book is having 30 pages. Okay. Generally, it was like that, 30 to 60 pages, not more than that. So the book is 30 pages. So I'm telling the child, when you write 1 page, you don't have to do the entire book. 1 page, yes, ma'am, 1 page I can write. It will take me 10 minutes. I will write it. Okay, then do 1 page only. Okay, done. In the evening before going to the park, can you write 1 page? It is going to take only 10 minutes. Okay, only 1 page. So 1 page, 1 page. Hardly 15 days, entire book is over. So now what is happening? The work is not looking like, oh my God, it's huge. Same thing, we can use it for us also, adults. We have a lot of projects. We have a lot of office work. So we keep piling our work. Instead, break it, do the small parts. So yeah, this much, this is going to take 15-20 minutes. I'll just do it. So when you look back, you see half of the things are already done. So this is how basically we go ahead with the parts to help the individuals deal and overcome on the areas in the best possible way. Okay. Now that we have discussed on this, let us discuss on the key benefits. By now, you have already got to understand the benefits, how CBT works and how it is benefiting an individual. So this basically allows healthier thinking pattern in an individual. It's not like I'm spoon feeding. The client is now trained to identify the thoughts and deal with their thoughts in a better, positive way. Awareness of the negative and often unrealistic thoughts that dampen the feelings and moods. Effective short-term treatment option. For example, improvements we can see in 5 to 20 sessions, depending upon the type of the problem. We can use this for clinically diagnosed states or for non-clinical normal problems also. So there also we can use CBT. So it is effective on a wide variety of maladaptive behaviors. More affordable than some other type of therapy. Because this is very practical based and they can do it at home once they learn it. They can practice. It is effective if we do it online session. It is effective also if we do face-to-face session. Nowadays, in case of like students, what we get to see is they they also receive like online classes. If there is a vacation, like summer vacation, they are having 1-2 classes. Or they can connect with the school psychologist online. There are provisions for such things in many schools where like outside the school it is taking place, so confidentiality is maintained. Nobody is getting to know, no other students are coming to know. So for such cases also, it is going to work for online sessions, also for face-to-face. If the student is going to the school counselor's room or the teacher is using there, also it is going to work. This can be used for those who don't require psychotropic medication. That means every student who is facing problem, they does not require a psychiatrist prescription medicine. So for them, this will work like wonder. This itself is a medicine. This itself is a treatment. So why we are using CBT? Because CBT is structured. Now see, all the things we did discuss, it's having a proper structure. It's not that somebody is doing in some way, somebody else is doing in some way. It is focused to the problem. It's instructional role of the therapist. Gradual process, step-by-step approach and easy to adapt to it. And skill required are helpful for life. Because you are learning, you are acquiring, and you are gaining those skills. You can use it a number of times in your life. And there are certain challenges also. So individual readiness to change. I am the teacher, I am trying to introduce a CBT technique to you. You are the student, but you are like very rigid. I don't want to follow this. Then I cannot do it. Self-analysis and homework compliance by the client. There are certain students who will be like, ma'am, I did not get time. I was not feeling it. So again, it will not work because it's a skill. If you practice, you develop the skill. If you don't practice, you don't develop. I can't do anything. And unconscious resistance to change. No, this thought is correct. I will not change. So for them, I cannot do it. So these can be some of the problems or limitations if we are using CBT. Otherwise, CBT works like wonder. And this is the reason why we are saying that it is a form of psychotherapy. It's a process of teaching, coaching, and reinforcing positive behaviors. And it is training the people to identify their cognitive patterns, their thoughts, their emotions that are linked to their behavior. So they will become their own therapists with their knowledge. That's the best part. So with this, we are done with discussing about understanding CBT, its uses and applications. understanding what to expect during or after the process is being carried out, understanding how it works, understanding the connection between thought, emotion, action, cycle, the ABC technique, how distortion affects an individual, what are various practical techniques we can use, and all the techniques we have discussed with case examples and case discussions. Worksheet also we did discuss, and lastly, the benefits and challenges of the same. Although many more things are there, which is not possible to cover up in a single webinar, it will go above a lot of information. So we are also having a detailed course on cognitive behavior therapy. So if any of you are interested, we will then join back again. So if there is any doubt, question, queries, you can let me know. Also, you can see in the chat box, a detailed procedure about the certificate is being given. So we check it. Also, if there is anything that you would like to ask as of now, you can